Killian
So,
storytime, yes. Nice.
okay, random, or slash B, or B, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to tell you my own personal tard story. The story of Neal. B in 5th grade. B in AI class. It's like advanced shit for smart kids. The teachers decided it's a good idea for us to spend a day with the tard kids because we're ahead of schedule for the marking period. I'd never seen a tard previous to this encounter, so I didn't know what to expect. Walk into Tard HQ. Seems like a regular classroom filled with ugly-ass kids. Everybody is assigned their own personal tard to talk with. I get assigned Neal. I walk up to the tard and say, "Hello, I'm Phil." "Hey, Pill." One fluent word. "Hey, Pill." He says this whenever he is within 30 feet of me, and it's become my only warning of an inevitable oncoming shitstorm. Sit down and see he's cutting paper. Ask him what he's making. What? The tard starts making the screeching sound. The only thing I compare it to is the sound of a fucking raptor. A fat downy tard runs up to us. "Stop it!" Neal gets up and continues his rap tard roar directly in her face. Downy tard goes batshit, engages tard strength, and flips the entire table over. Neal not only continues his tard roar, but moves closer to Downy Kid. Down Kid just starts screaming and tries to run for the door, but gets to open it and smashes into it head first. KO. Neal silences his roar, sits down, continues cutting paper as if nothing had happened. All my what.jpg. Tard Wranglers come in and retrieve Neal and the Downy Kid. They're both sent home. That's nothing compared to what, like... Second story. After our first faithful encounter, I hadn't seen Neal in a while, so this story takes place about 3 months after my previous story. Be walking down the hall with friends at lunch, talking about usual 5th grade shit, Pokemon and whatnot. Hear a faint, yet memorable voice. "Hey, Pill!" Don't answer. Pretend I heard nothing due to the events of last time. Hear the sound yet again, except this time it's directly in my ear. "Hey, Pill!" He had just appeared on my side. He had to be at least 30 or so feet in the other direction previously. The speed will come into play in later encounters. Wave awkwardly to him. "Hey, Neal." Extends a bag of Cheetos he had in his hand in my direction. "Want some?" "No thanks, Neal." My friend, not knowing the kind of devastation Neal is capable of, reaches over and grabs one of those Cheetos out of his bag without asking. Neal looks up with pure malice. Oh, fuck, not again. Approaches my friend deliberately, looking into his eyes. "Engage Raptard Roar." This one is in short bursts. It appears that he has different roars for different situations. Friend asks, "What's wrong with him?" Say nothing, as I do not want to feel Neal's wrath. Friend backs away as Neal approaches, chewing the Cheeto. Neal lets out one last violent tard roar and hurls himself at my friend, knocking him over. He jams his hand into my friend's mouth and quickly retrieves the liquidy remains of the Cheeto, continuing his tard roar directly in his face. Stands up and eats liquidy, half-eaten Cheeto after silencing his roar. Tard Wrangler comes speeding down the hallway and grabs Neal by the wrist to pull him back to Tard HQ. Waves at me. "Bye, Pill!" Not a single ounce of regret or emotion, for that matter, in his eyes. I wave at him in utter awe. "Bye, Neal." Oh, there's more. There's more. There's more. I'm about to do more. Neal Part 3, Battle of the Tards. Be in 6th grade now. New AI teacher is a very avid Tard supporter. We are now going to help the Tards out once a week for the entire year. I enter the Tard HQ and see Neal in the corner. Hasn't grown an inch since last year. Turns out he's going to remain 5 feet for the rest of his life. He walks as if he's in total concentration, reading a book. I walk up to Neal. "Hey, bud, what you reading?" Gives me one of those toothy Tard grins. "Hey, Pill!" Sits next to him and look at the book. Dr. Seuss, A Cat in the Hat. A skinny, tall tard walks over towards us. I could tell he was a dick from the first second I saw him. "What are you reading, Neal?" Snatched his book out of Neal's hands. "This book is for babies." Neal gets up. "Give it back, James!" James holds it above his head. "Take it!" Neal's rage is apparent. It is that of 1,000 suns. Neal sounds his rap-tard screech. This is slightly different from his roar. It's a sole effect to piss off the other tards. "Stop it, Neal! Take your dumb book!" Too late for that, bud. Neal continues to approach with his fist above his head as far as he can reach. Screech continues. At this point, Tard HQ is compromised. Tards are going crazy. Crayons and shit are being thrown. One tard has crawled into a ball of a puddle of piss. AI class is told to evacuate. I stay to watch imminent lulls. James is now clenching his ears for dear life. Neal is finally within striking range of James. He throws his mighty fist down on James' nuts with the accumulative force of 1,000 banhammers. James drops and begins to throw up on the magic carpet.
Oh, God.
Neal continued again. Neal silences the screech, picks up the book James has stolen from him, and sits down directly in James' puddle of throw-up. He looks up at me with that toothy grin as I just stare. Tard Wranglers burst in. One grabs me to bring me to safety. The other grabs the debilitated James and Neal. Neal screams after me, "Bye, Pill!" I just watch as he is hauled off to the principal's office, not giving a single bit of resistance. That day is known as N Day Up until I left for the high school. Now, Neal, Part 3. Begin in second marking period now. Neal has been suspended for pulverizing James's nuts. He's back now. This is like not even a fifth of what we have here. I'm gonna keep going.
What are you reading? Where did this come from? Like,
I'll relink it. It's one of the most, it's not most famous, but it's a very famous 4chan thing about retards. It's just pretty much making fun of retards, and this is about a story of Neal. And you can I'm in Neal Part 3 if you want to follow along. I've started to look forward to our days helping the tards just because of Neal. Unfortunately, it's not that day. Be in art class. Teacher says we have a tard coming to our class from now on because the school is starting a new integration program for tards. Neal walks through the fucking door. Class, this is Neal. Hello, Neal, we said in unison as I waved. Hey, Pill! Teacher lets him sit next to me because he knows me. James walks into class after him. Oh shit, nigger. James is introduced to class and is put at the same table as us just by luck. We are starting watercolor paintings right now. Neal decides he wants to paint an apple, just because that's what I'm painting. James starts shit with us because he's a fucking dick. Your apples look like shit. Neal ignores him because, well, that's because he's fucking Neal. He doesn't give a fuck. James obviously angered by being ignored by me and Neal, and pours all of his paint all over my painting. Don't give a fuck, but Neal sure as hell did. Commence Raptard War Short Burst Mode. This is when I found out that short bursts means he's about to wreck shit.
What one said.
Neal throws all of his paint right into James's eyes as the class looks on in horror. My eyes! James can't see shit, and Neal has not taken out Skittles, which I assume he's hid in the foreskin of his penis. I found out he's uncircumcised in a later incident, and begin pelting James with them. He's hurling these at Mach 5 speeds into him. James falls off the stool he's sitting on and brings the girl sitting next to him along too. Neal walks around the table, picks up the paint, and slowly empties it onto both James and the girl. It is apparent that Neal does not give two shits about civilian casualties. The roar has stopped. Kids are all huddled in a corner aside from me, the two tards, and the poor girl caught in the mix. Teacher signal for tard wranglers waiting outside. James and Neal are picked up and taken from the classroom. Neal is in complete and utter peace while being carried away. He simply waves at me. Bye, Pill! Continued. Be in 7th grade now. Haven't seen Neal in over a year. He and his parents have moved to a different school district due to the previously mentioned problems with this one. Be in the 3rd marking period. It's okay. Not the same without Neal, though. Walking down the hall one day, lo and behold, Neal is walking down the hall. All 5 feet of him. Run up to him. Hey, Neal! You're coming back to the school again? Hey, Pill! He now has his own personal tard wrangler at all times except for lunch, which explains everything to me. Unfortunately, I have no classes with Neal, due to the whole integration system being destroyed by the wrath of Neal. I see him in the halls all the time, though. You see, the thing about our middle school is that it's multiple buildings, which you can travel outside to get to. And as I mentioned before, Neal possesses lightning speed, which he doesn't display very often. One day, while I'm walking to woodshop with my friends, I see something blaze past me in followed by a familiar noise. The lightning raptard's mighty roar. 50 feet behind him is a wrangler, unable to keep up with him. Everybody looks on in shock as Neal plows directly through a small Asian girl carrying her books. As previously stated, Neal doesn't give two shits about civilian casualties. Neal looks behind to see how far he is from the wrangler. He silences his roar, as he can see he has won. Neal